Shabbat Shalom, family. Happy Sabbath.
Shabbat Shalom.
All right. Brings us another week, and we want to speak of, we're just going to get right to it. We want to speak about restoring order. And we're going to go right to Genesis chapter 3, verses 1 through 6.
All right, Shabbat Shalom, family. This is Genesis chapter 3, verse 1 through 6. Now the serpent was more crafty than any of the wild animals the Lord God had made. He said to the woman, "Did God really say, 'You must not eat from any tree in the garden'?" The woman said to the serpent, "We may eat fruit from the trees in the garden, but God did say, 'You must not eat fruit from the tree that is in the middle of the garden, and you must not touch it, or you will die.'" "You will not certainly die," the serpent said to the woman, "for God knows that when you eat from it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." When the woman saw that the fruit of the tree was good for food and pleasing to the eye, and also desirable for gaining wisdom, she took some and ate it. She also gave some to her husband, who was with her, and he ate it. So there, family, you can see how Eve was easily deceived, and the first thing she did wrong was to even engage in a conversation with the serpent. Right then and there, she should have said, nope, let me go get my husband.
Right.
Her curiosity was being like God. That was why was she curious? Because she heard from the serpent that she can be like God.
Right.
And her wanting to be that led her to go ahead and eat the apple, and then go and deceive her husband and give him the fruit to eat as well. So there was just deception on many levels going on in that scenario.
Right. And also, it shows that it starts with Eve. And we can see it in today's world that we need to get back to order. Eve was obviously out of order. She wasn't following, her husband's orders, or definitely wasn't following the Most High's order. And we see that today, living in this time, in this day and age, that a lot of our sisters, we're out of order. We're out of conduct. Even if we're married, we're still out of order. We think just because we have a good job that we have, that we have the right or the authority to be over our men, but clearly not. It wasn't meant like that. It was It's men, then obviously, Christ, then man, then women, and it's done like that for a reason. But living in this Babylon society, it has it upside down, and thinking that we are above the men, but clearly we're not. And right here it started from Eve. It wasn't from slavery. It was way before that. It was Eve that was already out of order. So we had that trait in us, the Eve trait of going against our men. So from there we'll just jump to Genesis 2 verses 18, and it says, "Then the Lord God said, 'It is not good for the man to be alone. I will make him a helper suitable for him.'" And then 21 read, "So the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon the man, and he slept. And he took one of his rib and closed up the flesh at the place." And in verse 23, "The man said, 'This is now bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man.'" And right there, so this is where the formation of women. So it already shows that man was here before, it was men then women, not woman then men. In which the society, once again, thinking that, we are in control because we have this great job, we have this good career, and obviously, the man's unable, we sisters, sometimes we get boastful, we think we're so independent, we don't need a man, and they're beneath us. But it clearly says in that verse that it was the man first, and then we came out of the man. So we also go to 1 Corinthians 11. And we just sisters, we have to get back to order, because without it, we see where it's leading us. So nothing but destruction. The kids are out of order. The whole nation is out of order, and we have to be mindful that every other nation follows us and wants to be like us. So if we're not restoring, we're not showing any order in our families, then the rest of the nations are not going to be showing any order. So we have to just maintain order at all time. It was the man, and then it was women, not women of men, and not thinking that because we have this good job, and that's what it really comes down. We have this good job, and we have this, and me, that we are above it. That's so not true. It says it right here. It was men, then women. So in 1 Corinthians 11 verses 3 reads, "But I want you to understand that Christ is the head of every man, and the man is the head of the woman, and God is the head of Christ." And if we jump down to verse 8, says, "For man does not originate from woman, but woman for man. For indeed, man was not created for the woman's sake, but woman for the man's sake." And I'm going to read that again. "For indeed, man was not created for the woman's sake, but woman for the man's sake." And now we know most sisters probably don't like to hear that verse when you hear, because the first thing we hear, what the man God could do for us.
Right.
In essence, is what we're supposed to be doing. We are here and we were created here to help, as a helpmate. Help, H-E-L-P, helpmate. Not for him to, buy us this, do this, and we don't give back. To give, we're not supposed to be take, and not give. We're supposed to be doing and giving as according to the Most High. Like it says, but woman for the man's sake, especially if it's a righteous man, that we have to, obey and we have to follow, because that's what the Most High put in place, the man to rule over us. So women, I don't know, we get this thought that, if a man can't help me, then I don't need him. I don't need no man because he don't have no money and he's broke and he's this and he's that. But not realizing we're under curse according to Deuteronomy, in Deuteronomy's chapter 28, that we're in captivity. So things are done for a reason, that the man is not able to rule in this kingdom, in the Babylonian kingdom, but in the kingdom of God, they're going to be ruling over us. And if that's the kingdom you're looking for, I know I'm looking to get in that kingdom. We want to make sure that we're doing, the things according to the scriptures, and we're following these laws and commandments. And yes, the man is going to rule over us, and we have to get out of that Babylonian mentality, thinking that the man is here for us to do what we say and to do this and to buy us this. That's not going to mean anything, because when we're at the time of the last days, that when the Most High comes upon, we want to make sure we're right, according to him, and right according to, to him and his words and his laws. So we just got to be mindful, sisters. We shouldn't be boastful. We're very opinionated on everything, but we lack a lot of knowledge, when it comes to these scriptures. And if we would read and take heed of them, then we would know that, okay, he's set here for a reason, and we can't be going along with the rest of the Gentiles and the people of this world and thinking that the man is no good, especially our men. Especially, everybody wants a so-called black man, but nobody wants to go through the problems of us, of what we do, but they want to be like us and all that stuff. So once. Everybody wants a black man, but not want the issue that come. They like how, most women from other nations, they love how, black men, they look, but we have all type of shades of different men, but they don't understand when it comes for them, when they start, taking, authority and they don't like that. They think, he's mean, he's this, he has too much anger, he has too much rage, and not realizing a black man is meant to be strong, is meant to be, like a lion,
right?
If but that's what people, they like they like the outwards of the man, but not when he starts to speak. They don't like what he has to say.
Right.
So we just gotta be.
Yeah. So I was gonna say that our vision should be what our husband's vision is, not our own vision, not what we want to do in life, and my next big break, your career mentality. It shouldn't be, make a whole lot of money, and this, that, and the third. It should be what your husband wants. And a lot of women have an issue with even accepting that they have to follow their husband's vision. They think that it's saying that they're beneath their husband, which really you are beneath him. He's your covering. What does a cover do? It covers you. It protects you. And when you We can't edit that, all right.
Well, yeah, the man's here to protect us, but he's here to protect us, but we also have to be submissive. We can't just be, have our own vision, because even though we have our own vision, but it never pans out the way. And sometimes we have to do things in order for us to, feel that we've made it to the top. We have to might sell our bodies and do, unprovocable, provocative things, and do things that you wouldn't dare tell anybody in order to get to the top. But if we were to follow our husband's vision, and especially if it's a righteous man, you know that his vision is according to the scriptures and according to the laws and commandments, that he's not going to lead us astray, that he's going to make sure that what we do is for the benefit of everyone and not for ourselves. Because us women, we are, within this flesh, we're selfish. We just think about ourselves. Some women give up their kids, for nothing. And, they just do things and not realizing about, just for selfish gain. So that's why, obviously the Most High set the man to rule over us, and for these reasons, for us not to keep us on track. Because if we're not on track, we're here, we're trying to do this here, and then our focus should be, of what the husband wants in the home, maintaining our home, maintaining our children, make sure that the kids are right, maintaining that the family's right, and not out there in the world and trying to please the world, and not realizing we give 100% to the world, and then we give maybe like 2% to our family, and that's not how we should be. What were you gonna say?
Yeah. I was gonna say, if it's so easy for us to follow our bosses at work and do what they say, it should be no problem with following our husband's vision with what he says when in the home.
Right.
And like the sister just said, if we can give 100% to our jobs, we should be able to give 100% in the home, not 2%.
Right.
And, you're at work, you're spending all this time with other men and even other women, and you're getting work done, you're getting the vision of the company done, you're getting everything done, and just because they give you a paycheck, you go above and beyond just because you're getting a little paycheck, and you think that at home, because you're not getting a paycheck, you don't have to put as much effort into it, when that's not true, because the reward is so much more greater than the little bit of money that you may be making at your job.
Sure. So let's go to 1 Timothy verses 2. Right.
All right. 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 11 through 14. A woman should learn in quietness and full submission. I do not permit a woman to teach or to assume authority over a man. She must be quiet. For Adam was formed first, then Eve. And Adam was not the one deceived. It was the woman who was deceived and became a sinner. So there, right there, it's telling you the woman, it was Eve who became a sinner. She became a sinner when she deceived Adam. Even though it says here he was not deceived, she was the one who deceived by giving him the fruit to eat.
Right.
And a woman should learn in quietness and full submission. When we don't, and we just yap, we're going against the submissive part. And submissive is not being beneath your husband or lesser than, but you are the weaker vessel, so you have to understand that you have to, your best way to learn is in quietness and full submission. And submission is just coming over to the winning side. That's all it is. It's coming over to the winning side. And
some reason we think it's something different. We have growing up in here, we think that it's something bad, it's something bad, But every other nation, you see the Indians, you see the Chinese, they're submissive to their husband. Right. That's our culture. They got it from us. Why is it we can't do what we were brought here to do, just to be
Right.
submissive to our husband and follow the laws and the commandments. We look down on that because we were taught wrong. We were taught by Gentiles, we were taught by other nations that this is wrong, and not realizing. Obviously, they're telling us that for a reason. It is right.
Right.
They say the things that they told us that's wrong. They embedded in our head and make it seem like it's wrong. But in actuality, it was the right thing for us to be doing because they're doing it. They practice their. A white woman, she's submissive to her husband. She makes sure everything is done, and that when he comes home, dinner is ready. Everything's ready. Kids are good.
Right.
The husband don't have to say anything. But our sister, the man worked all day. The man come home. What do we do? On the couch, probably watching Maury or some nonsense on TV.
Real Housewives.
Right. They're not even real. Nothing about them are even really real. They're
some of them not even housewives.
Right. They don't even They can't even keep a husband. But we watching TV, and when a man come home, we looking at him, and he asking what's for dinner. And what we do that. Man, please,
exactly.
Man, please, you go fix yourself something.
TV dinners.
Right. Not even TV dinners. He's like, why didn't you pick up something to eat? You didn't bring me nothing, and you've been home all day. He doesn't work. You don't know how his day was. We don't ask him, oh, how was your day? Well, we should know that he's obviously going to be hungry because if he's been gone for 12 plus hours, we should, just basic general understanding, you gotta know that he's going to be hungry when he comes home.
Right.
And, just to wind down, and we don't even have anything ready, so excuse me, we sat there all day watching TV. You're lucky if the kids, some women probably lucky if the kids even got any kind of care done to them. Most of the time the kids are probably at daycare because they too lazy to watch their own kids. And, we're just lazy about how we are. But we see that the white woman in every other culture, they have it laid out. Kids are nice and clean. Kids are, they did their work for they're taken care of. They did their work for the day. Everybody, just moving in unison. And why is it us that we lucky if we can even have a wholesome meal with each other? We already arguing about this and why this is not being done, and this is not being done, and we're looking at the black man,
cringing,
right, beneath us, and thinking, well, you ain't doing anything, you've been going all day, and just bickering about nonsense, and not even realize, not even asking him, how was his day, he obviously might have had a rough day, and we don't even take the time out and even care to even ask. Well, we already, stiff neck, eye rolling, and the whole shebang. We already know how we can get when we have an attitude. So I'm not even gonna continue on how the behaviors of us, us Israelite women, and the rest of the women, how we act. It's just it's pitiful at this point that there's nothing in the Bible that tells us that it tells us how the ways that we should be acting, and we're not acting according to the Most High. And that's why we see it. That's why we're being punished. That's why us women, we have a lot of broken homes, single family, most, single mothers, and they're working 3-4 jobs, and, then they start to have some resentments about the children. Well, you done kicked the man out in the home because when he was trying to rule, you didn't want him to rule, so now he's gone, and now you're mad because he's not there to help provide and do what he was supposed to do when he was there. You took that for granted, so now you're struggling, and you get angry at the kids, and it just trickles down. It's like the domino effect just trickles down to the whole society and how we are, and especially in these last days, and this we're under captivity and not following these laws and commandments, that it's really kicking our behinds, and we just not trying to hear or see, seek the knowledge that we should be doing. So let's turn to Hebrews. Okay.
So we're going to go ahead and go to Hebrews chapter 13, verse 17. Have confidence in your leaders and submit to their authority, because they keep watch over you as those who must give an account. Do this so that their work will be a joy, not a burden, for that would be of no benefit to you. So with this verse, submit to your husbands. It's saying that have confidence in your leaders and submit to their authority. Who's your authority in the household? The husband. And when you don't, you give flack, you complain, you bicker, you argue. That's not bringing joy for him having to protect you.
Right.
That's not.
I wouldn't want to protect me if I had attitude and my husband's. Why would I want to protect somebody who got an attitude?
Exactly.
I wouldn't want to put my life down for somebody who doesn't appreciate it. So I don't want to blame a man for not wanting to protect me. If I'm not, doing what I'm supposed to do, I wouldn't want you, and I'm saying from a woman, so I can understand the man. Like, I wouldn't want that, if I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do, why would I expect him to lay down his life? But I'm giving him attitude, and if I go to work, I'm praising the white man. Oh, thank you, Bob, for, giving me this extra time off. You praising him.
Exactly.
You know he's not going to die for you, that when you working on these extra hours, he don't care. He might give you thank you for coming in today.
Exactly.
That's all you might get, a thank you. But if your husband, your husband will die for you, and what you get, he get the spirit of faith.
Right. You get the teeth up.
Right. You get you look at him with an evil eye. So, but like
you gotta watch that evil eye.
Right. Yeah. Like it says right here, obey your leader and submit to them, and our leader is our husband. And yes, like it says, obey your leader. Yes, sisters, our leader is our husband.
Right.
Especially if it's a righteous man. If it's not righteous, then I understand. That's a different story. But if it's definitely somebody of the Most High that's righteous, that we need to obey, we have to submit, because if we don't, we see what's happening now. The proof is in the pudding. You see it all around us. You see the struggle that we're going through. You just see it. So it doesn't make any sense if we're not following these laws and commandments that we're supposed to be following. We need to be like our foremothers, the ones that were of righteousness, that were of doers, and were lovers of the Most High, that we have to just follow them, and those are the women that we need to look up for. We can't even say we could use our own parents or our in our day and time our moms or grandmoms, because they're obviously we see grandmas or they're
trying to act like the granddaughters.
The granddaughter, they thinking they're young, so they're not even submitting. So we have to go way back into to the Rebeccas, to our foremother, to the Sarahs, to the Rachel, and to the Leahs, to those women, and to look up to them and use them as a good positive role model, because the role models that are set in our lives now, they obviously are not as positive, because this is, if they were, we wouldn't be living in this way we're living, in the conditions that we're living in now. So who we want to speak about?
We're gonna go ahead and speak on Abigail first.
Right.
So let's go ahead and get to her and what she did. She actually protected two men, and one of them ended up becoming her future husband.
Right.
So it worked out both ways. All right, so we're gonna go to 1 Samuel, chapter 25. Verse 30 to 33. When the Lord has fulfilled for my Lord every good thing he promised concerning him, and has appointed him ruler over Israel, my Lord will not have on his conscience the staggering burden of needless bloodshed, or of having avenged himself. And when the Lord your God has brought my Lord success, remember your servant. David said to Abigail, praise be to the Lord, the God of Israel, who has sent you today to meet me. May you be blessed for your good judgment, and for keeping me from bloodshed this day, and from avenging myself with my own hands. Otherwise, as surely as the Lord, the God of Israel, lives, who has kept me from harming you, if you had not come quickly to meet me, not one male belonging to Nabal would have been left alive by daybreak. Okay, so here, Abigail used her discretion, and David even said, be blessed for your good judgment.
Right.
So she knew that her husband Nabal, he was a drunkard. And he was drunk. He
too fast out to even know what was going on.
Right. He was too drunk to know what was going on. He was about to write a check that his behind couldn't cash.
Right.
Excuse me. So she went and had some quick thinking, and she brought loaves of bread, flax, different treats that show, that pretty much, I'm sorry, we're sorry, this is for you, please forgive, what has come out of my husband's mouth. And for that, she saved David and her husband Nabal's life that day. Even though God ended up smiting Nabal anyway, because his second chance probably was his third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh chance of just, having good discernment. He didn't have. So eventually David took Abigail on as his wife. But she used her discretion to
she said better judgment. She didn't, use her authority. She didn't, She did what she knew, like I said, but just better judgment of, overall to help her family. And that's what we should be doing, using our better judgment as opposed to for our personal gain. But us women, what we do, we use things for our personal gain. It's not necessarily always best to suit the whole family, just for our personal gain. And that's not what Abigail did. She knew that this would help her and Nabal at the time, and that's what she did. So she did, use her authority over him. She used her better, judgment and discernment and love, and she knew that the Most High would, take care of her because she knew what she was doing. Right. And her heart was right.
Even though Nabal treated her horribly.
Right.
She still stuck up for him and made sure that he was okay. Right. Without usurping authority over him.
Mm-hmm. And then who else we going to?
We're going to go ahead and speak about Zipporah.
Right.
Zipporah was Moses' wife. Okay, so we're going to go to Exodus chapter 4, verse 24 through 26. And it reads, "At a lodging place on the way, the Lord met Moses and was about to kill him. But Zipporah took a flint knife, cut off her son's foreskin, and touched Moses' feet with it. 'Surely you are a bridegroom of blood to me,' she said. So the Lord let him alone." So here, Zipporah's quick thinking. Right. She circumcised their son and put the flesh, the foreskin, by Moses' feet to show that he gave authority of the circumcision. Knowing that, the Most High was about to smite Moses, she saved her husband's life again without usurping authority. And she showed herself not usurping authority by placing that by his feet to show that he had the authority, and he was the head. He called the shots. Right?
Yep. We'll go to Genesis.
So next we're going to go ahead and speak about Sarah of Genesis chapter 21, verse 1. "Now the Lord was gracious to Sarah as he had said, and the Lord did for Sarah what he had promised. Sarah became pregnant and bore a son to Abraham in his old age, and at the very time God had promised him. Abraham gave the name Isaac to the son Sarah bore him. When his son Isaac was 8 days old, Abraham circumcised him, as God commanded him."
Right, and then we read that scripture because we wanted to show that Sarah, it took her a long time. She was about 90 years old before she was even able to conceive. And at first, she obviously, she lacked faith in the Most High, and obviously in her husband. When God spoke unto her, she laughed and thinking that it wasn't possible. So she doubted him. And we all know, a lot of us, it's related to how a lot of us sisters think now. When our husband tells us something, at first we might have a lot of doubt until it's shown and prove, until it actually comes, like if he promises something or say he's going to do, like buy a house. For example, if he says he's going to buy a house in a year, we might not believe him, but next you know, you're moving a year later, here's that house that he promised. So we brought this out to say that just because it doesn't happen right there, then and there, that we shouldn't lack doubt. And that's what Sarah did. At first she lacked doubt in the Most High, and not thinking that she was going to be able to conceive, even though she was 90 years old. But it happened, you know. Obviously, she was joyful. If you continue to read, she was joyful, and that's no difference in her sister. We lacked out at first, and we're like, no, you're not gonna buy nothing. You don't have no money. We talk, we would just talk stuff that's not positive and just negatively sometimes to our husband, and it does encourage them, but until it happens, and then we feel about this big, and then we apologize and say, oh, I'm sorry, and this and this, but instead of us just trusting in him and just believing in him at first, we would have to go back and apologize. But we can sometimes lack doubt in our husband, and we shouldn't, and it just shows that right here, that same thing, Sarah, she first lacked out in Abraham and the Most High, and until it came into fruition that here at 90 years old, you were still able to conceive, Isaac, who was, who Sarah is on the mother of the our nation, of the Israelite nation. So we just want to say, sister, we can't, we need to just stay in order, and we can't, be submissive to our husband. We can't try to serve our authority over them, because that's not what the scripture wants us to do. And if we say we're women of, daughters of Zion, or we want to walk in, in righteousness, that we can't think that we rule above him, because that's what this, society, today's so-called society, think that we rule over them because of this and because of that. But that's not true. If we stick to our scriptures and stick to these laws and commandments, we would know who's our leader, and it's obviously our husband and then the Most High.
Right.
So if we stay in that order, then we will, be free from sin, just free from a whole lot of negativity and just a whole lot of folly and a lot of stuff that's going on. And today, and definitely the curse will definitely teach you and show you that what happened when we, curse, that when we are sinning, this is what's going to happen. And we see, we walking around here, we bald, and that curse alone is enough to tell me, like, oh, yeah, Most High is serious. Right. We walking around here, we bald, and we see a lot of sisters. We bald, and, we have, madness. Yeah, most of us have a lot of mental illness. Most of, we suffer from, stress and this, and, it just, the list goes on and on. And it's because, these curses, we're in captivity, we continue to sin, and we're still going to continue to suffer. And if what we need to do is just get back in order, restore the order, especially starting within our home, especially if you have that man that's righteous, to follow what, if he's righteous and he's following the laws and commandments, that's what we need to be doing. If he's not, then you need to find a new one that's following the laws and commandments. Because if he's not, he's just going to lead you down to sin. If you're saying that's not where you're trying to go, you need to be on. Right.
Or even if he's not righteous, like in the instance in the ball with Abigail.
Right.
She still kept following the commandments. Yeah. And to keep in faith that her husband will fall in line.
Right. And that's what usually would happen too. If the woman is doing right and she's not sinning, the man would look to that and say, oh wow, she's serving the Most High. So he's gonna want to change just because he sees that you're moving in a right direction. Right. But if you're moving a negative way, he's just might remain the same. And no difference for us women. If we see our husband moving in righteousness, that's where we need to be. We can't have our own vision. Well, he's gonna do what he wants, because you hear that a lot. Well, my husband does this, and he say what he want to do, and it's all this nonsense. And you can just tell, like, the structure of their home, that they're on two different pages. One might go to church and the husband doesn't go, because can you blame him? Because they know what they're preaching there is not obviously stuff of righteousness, not obviously laws and commandments. So he's not going to want to go to church. So already there, sometimes when a woman who does go to church, she look up to the preacher to have more respect for, like, the preacher and the deacon, then the husband, and she comes home and look at her husband once again with that evil eye, and thinking that he doesn't know much, or he's not, why he can't be like the preacher, why he can't be this way, why he can't be that way, and not realizing that already right there, that your first ruler is your husband, because he's, at the end of the day, he's the only one that's here. He's gonna die for you. Your preacher's not gonna die for you. They got their own families to commit to. The deacon, the bishop, whoever. They're not gonna do those things that your husband would do. But we just have everything so upside down and twisted that we lack respect for our men. So we just definitely gotta, just stay in order. We just have to get back to that order. Eve obviously transgressed. It doesn't mean that we have to continue,
Right.
and to transgress, and we just have to do better. We have to uplift ourselves. We have to uplift the family. We have to uplift our kids. The community, because we're the Most High judges us as a nation.
Right.
He judges us individually, but he looks at it all together as a whole. So that's why we're all being punished as a whole. Just because Sister here might do something wrong, I'm still gonna get affected negatively from it somehow, because he judges us as a whole.
Right.
And you see it, you see it nowadays. Like if a woman, we're just judged as a whole. Like one person might be actually committed a sin, but we all are getting punished.
Like with Sodom and Gomorrah,
right?
He smited the whole city.
Right. He took everybody down. He didn't just take down just that one person. The whole city had to go, and that's how we have to look. We have to change. Start from within your home, and then work on your family, close relative, and then the outside. Friends, and then the community. So as a nation, we can move forward and just to do better.
Right.
But what were you gonna say?
No, I wasn't gonna say. I was gonna.
Yeah. So from there, let's go to Galatians chapter 5,
verse 16. All right, so we're going to go ahead and read Galatians chapter 5, verse 16. So I say, walk by the Spirit, and you will not gratify the desires of the flesh. For the flesh desires what is contrary to the Spirit, and the Spirit what is contrary to the flesh. They are in conflict with each other, so that you are not to do whatever you want. But if you are led by the Spirit, you are not under the law. The acts of the flesh are obvious: sexual immorality, impurity and debauchery, idolatry and witchcraft, hatred, discord, jealousy, fits of rage, selfish ambition, dissensions, factions and envy, drunkenness, orgies, and the like. I warn you, as I did before, that those who live like this will not inherit the kingdom of God. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things there is no law. Those who belong to Christ Jesus, Yeshua, have crucified the flesh with its passions and desires. Since we live by the Spirit, let us keep in step with the Spirit. Let us not become conceited, provoking, and envying each other.
Mm-hmm. Right. And that note, wow, that just says a lot. Women, we just have to have that, the fruit of the Spirit. And if we have that fruit of the Spirit, then we wouldn't have to be worrying about, us usurping authority over our husband, because the fruit of the Spirit will already have us in alignment on where we need to be and what we need to be doing. If we have the love, the joy, the peace, the patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, self-control, which a lot of us lack. Right. That alone right there, self-control is a big issue that we need to work on. Those are, the most high waters as women that we need to be. Have that fruit of the Spirit within us, so we can, be better moms, be better wives, caretaker, better sisters to our family, and also to our community. And having those fruits of the Spirit also keeps us in line. That is us pretty much being submissive. It says it's right there. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness. That's something that a man looks for, that makes him want to be able to die for us, and makes him do what he does for us. Not us trying to be in control and be, boastful, envying, challenging. That's not something that a man wants, will want. not a righteous man. And now if a man just trying to just want any type of woman, yeah, he's gonna look for that type of woman. But a woman of a man of God, they're gonna look for a woman that have these fruit of the spirit in there, that are have self control, that are gentle. No man will want a rough these rough women that be who wants a woman that wants to challenge him, who out there be doing I know construction, and no man doesn't want a woman that's tough, because eventually we're going to take on these roles, and we're going to start to think that we're men, and we're going to start dressing. You see it now. You see women, yeah, you see women out there dressing like men, think like they men, and it's just nonsense.
Security guards.
Yeah, taking on roles, the men. That's so true. They taking on roles of men, and that's not what the Most High put us here for. He put us here, to be helpmates. He put us here with these, that we should have these fruits of the spirit at all times for us, in order to, in order for us to grow and just be here for our husbands, to be here, to love, for patience and kindness. He set those, spirit within us, and those are the spirits that we should be using, not the spirit of Eve, not just to be deceitful and just about ourselves, and definitely not the spirit, this Babylon spirit that we done fell upon, being in this captivity, just me, being boastful, and just loud, and everything's independent and all that stuff. That's not what he wanted us to do. He wanted us to
even the loud and independent ones. What about the quiet ones?
Right,
because you can be quietly boisterous too.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, that is true. So it goes both ways. He wants us. He has things laid out. Most High has things laid out for us. If we follow these laws and commandments, He has it laid out for us. That how He expects from us women, and we need to be daughters of Zion, because at the end of the day, we have daughters that are looking up to us, and you want them to be have these fruit of the spirit within them. You want them to be joyful, peaceful, so they can have end up with a righteous man and of that nature. You don't want them to have rage, jealousy, anger, just envious of within each other, and just envious about other people. So we just have to be mindful, restore that order back in our home. Starts within the home first, because if we don't have the home straight, then nowhere else is going to be straight. So once we get that straight in our home and within our loved ones, our community, and then we can start restore the nation, and we can break these curses, because this Deuteronomy 28 is serious. Yeah. We see it, we see it around us that every day what's happening, what's happening. When we don't, when we're not, serving the Most High how He likes us to be, we're getting whipped every day, and we're still disobedient. We're still not waking up. We're still not doing what He wants us to do. So we definitely got to get back, and restoring order. And it starts with women who have covering, who have it, because there's a lot of our sisters out there. We are they're single, but they got to start restoring within themselves these fruits of the spirit that to help them to be able to eventually meet a righteous man that wants to take care, that wants to provide. So sisters too who are singles, you have to start there. Look deep in yourself and say, okay, how would I be able to find people pray on women pray on a good husband, but you gotta look at yourself. Well, are you doing right? You gotta, what seed are you sowing? You got what seeds are you planting? Are you being are you planting the fruits of the spirit of love? Are you doing that, being joyful, bringing peace, kindness, goodness? So you gotta look into yourself. You can't just pray on it. They say fruits without work is dead. So you also gotta do the work. Right, for if you want the Most High to bless you, you can't expect Him to bless you and you're not doing the work, because he might bless you, teach you a lesson, but He'll take it away. Right. So you want to be able to maintain that, the good blessing. So right, yeah. So sisters, single women too. You also got to start now. You don't want to wait till you get that husband, because it's not gonna work that way. Most time I'm gonna send you somebody totally opposite that what you asked for. So you want to be working on these fruits of the spirit now, and make sure you already have them in the mindset that you're gonna have somebody that's going to rule over you, that you're gonna have somebody that's an authority figure, and don't be ashamed that if you are considered a weaker vessel, just because you're considered a weaker vessel doesn't mean you're less than. Right. You're just underneath. He's there to protect you. Right. we are here his helpmeet. So for the single sister, definitely you can start planning on that, now. Don't wait till then. Plan on now so you have that man and you know what to do when you have a righteous man. And us, married sisters, we definitely have to continue. If we want to continue to stay married, we need to be working on ourselves and making sure that we're doing, we are doing what our husband asked for us, and we are in his continue his vision that he set for us,
right.
for us to do. So we don't want to lack focus, and we don't want to get out of character and not let the society thinking that just because we work and we bring home a paycheck because it says our name on it, is that it's just for us. It's not for us. It's for the family.
Right.
It's definitely for him. He's the one that obviously guided you out there to help you, to be able to, earn that income for the family. So let's not get caught up in thinking that it's my money, it's my house, it's my this, it's my me. Let's not get caught up in that mentality and look at it, okay, I have a covering, he's here, he's here for a reason. We need to take that into a blessing and definitely continue to, do what the Most High wants us to do. And I definitely kind of lost my train. Definitely do what the Most High wants, to do and what He asks for, especially if it's in righteousness. So we definitely are restore that order. We have to go back to that because without having that order, we suffer, and then we're gonna just continue these curses of Deuteronomy. And I know I don't want to continue this within my family, and our children. We don't want to pass that down to them. We want to show them the right way. Just because what you see on TV and see with your eyes, it's not that's not the right way. We have to go back to basic, and going back to basic is follow these laws and commandments. Is this book, right? Reading the scriptures and getting the best understanding. The best understanding how to do things, because this is the only way, the right way. Because what we see around here, we see so much, wrong ways, and we thinking, what's happening with this society, they thinking what's right, what's wrong is right. We see, you just see it all around. So we have to teach our kids, while their minds are young, to say, no.
Proper discernment. Right,
yeah. That's not, what you see out there, that's not the right way. This is what this book, what this Most High said in this book, that's the right way. And that's how He wants us to have, He definitely wants us to have order. And we have to restore that order back in our home.
Right.
But on that note, we would say Shabbat Shalom.